you know, Teal has been such an integral part of Raglan Shire since the beginning. In you know, after the first medieval fest, we had our first week winter fest, which again was held in the entirety of the Silly Cube, and she was there, and she was helpful, and she was helping, and she was having a grand time, like everybody seemed to be having a grand time, and many pictures were taken, and I mean, it was magic. It really was magic. Wolfie is the real life, or was the real life, I'm sorry, is the real life husband of Teal. Theirs is a love story. They met in Second Life. Years ago, they finally decided to meet up in real life. And then they decided to marry. It's truly a touching, heartwarming, amazing story. A real love story, which is rare. So Teal ran the R Walk for 5 years. It was fabulous. She was so excited to do it. It was so nice to know, just like Karma does now, to know that someone really, really cared and wanted to make it the best possible and connected with the other, because there's other art groups in Second Life, and she had connected with all these other artists that weren't just, it wasn't just Raglan Shire. The first year it was, because that's all I knew. I'm in my box. But Teal went outside the box and contacted all these groups that were art groups all over Second Life and all these other artists. And all of a sudden Wolfie, my heart goes out to you. There's no words, the reality of everything, there's no words, but I've valued what you've offered to our community, what you've offered as a friend. I was ecstatic that the two of you had a chance to meet and interact and then meet in real life and realize that love was real and then marry. And I know the loss is huge. I've talked about loss and the vacuum it creates. Um, but as I understand it, she passed and you were in the same room holding her hand. And what other, you can't ask for anything else at the end. This is what's important, but they're not. What's important is our actions and how they affect others and how we impact others and how others remember us, because ultimately, again, we are all a story, and all we can do is tell each other the stories of the folks that have passed on and remember them. And as long as you can do that, they're the vacuum aside, they're still always going to be with you, and you can cry and you can be sad, but you could also remember why they made you laugh, or that time they did something that made you smile, or that time they did something that meant so much to you that you weren't aware that they were doing. Teal was one of those people, and she would do things for others without people knowing until she would present them with that thing that she did. And, we're grateful to have people like that, because, Wolf told me that, towards the end, I think she had made peace with everything, and her demeanor, like when I talked to her, she was already dying, and and I know she was scared when I talked to her. But at the same time, she just sounded so at peace, and she knew it was happening, and she was just preparing. And Wolf told me before this that he feels that right now that she is at peace with everything, and I don't know. It's very unique. It breaks my heart, but at the same time, I was floored when I heard that, like, all of you, like, congregated in the Silly Cube. You can see it, for weeks, and rezzed all the stuff and talked about her, and because everyone's mourning, everyone wants to comfort each other, and that's another aspect of this particular community being so unique and important. And again, Teal was such a big part of it. There's not really much I can say. I think I've said everything that I wanted to say. But Raglan Shire has been 15 years of a community, by and for so many, that has given so much joy. Teal was such a big part of that. We're going to do more than just commemorate her with a little talk. We're going to brez something out as we're wont to do, because as long as Raglan Shire is around, she's one of those foundations. So before I continue, let me just cue up something that Cloverhead, the Fantasy Fair folks, say. It's 7 minutes.
On April 9th of this year, the Fairlands, the Tinies of Raglan Shire, the wider community of Second Life, and indeed the world, said goodbye to a dear friend, a sweet little white tiger who touched countless lives. Teal Freenote was everything a Fairlander is supposed to be. Generous and kind, funny and courageous. She faced the unweaver, faced cancer, with all the heart that is embodied in the form she chose as her virtual self. The following message is from the Raglan Shire community, a group of souls without whom the Fairlands would be a sadder, darker place. They write, "We are heartbroken at the passing of our beloved Teal Freenote, and send all our love to Wolfie Hartnell, her husband, who held her hand throughout her journey. Teal fought hard, and we honor her and celebrate her. From all of us, we miss you and we love you, Teal. And we are here for you, Wolfie." And it's signed by the Tinies of Raglan Shire. 2022 marks the 14th age of the fair, and if there is one lesson we can glean from all those years, it's simply the reminder of how fortunate we are to have this time and space to connect with one another. A wise soul with vision once asked, "What is grief, if not love persevering?" That enduring love is as bright as any star, bright as any sun. Teal Freenote, and all those to whom we've said goodbye, are legends, now and forever, teaching us to reach for goodness' sake. Now and forever, loved by the sun.